Joining me is One Championship bantamweight, man. We haven't spoke in a while, Jeff, and it's been I believe 10 months, man. I don't think that you expected any of this to happen, but here we are, and how you doing, man? In back in Canada.
Hey man, I'm doing good. I can't believe it's been 10 months already. I can't believe essentially been a year since COVID hit.
Yeah.
Feels longer and it feels like it's not going away. But besides that, I'm doing good. I actually just came back from Dubai,
Mhm.
despite COVID and everything. So I got my traveling out of the way and I'm back at home quarantining right now.
All right, now before we get into Dubai, because there's a lot to talk about right there, but
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the pandemic hitting shortly after you made your debut in February.
Mhm.
What was the
Mhm.
situation when you actually got back home? Because I know you said you went on a little vacation before you actually went back to Canada.
Yeah, so after my debut, I actually got offered a fight right after that, and I couldn't take that fight because I had a camp planned out. I had a full like 14 fully booked out 2 week camp in Koh Samui. But then before going, I didn't want to go back home and then travel back out to Thailand. So I stayed in, or I went to wherever I went. I can't remember where I went. Vietnam, I think. And I was going to chill out in Vietnam until I went to host that camp. But then COVID got real bad, and then I was forced to head back to Canada. Like our president was saying, like, all Canadians come home, or you might not be able to get back in. So then me and my fiance panicked, kind of just head home.
So when you got home, what was the situation like there? Were they already on lockdown, or was
Lockdown,
it
yeah.
open? Oh, right away.
Everything was all locked down, yeah. And that went on for like 2 months, like full lockdown.
For 2 months you isolated yourself, you're in your home. I know that you're still creating content, but how hard was it to just try to be creative at home with just a limited amount of resources?
It wasn't the most difficult because I do have like a little home setup at home, and I had a lot of requests. Even now, uh, people are requesting home workouts because everyone's stuck at home. I also have lots of content stock, like on stock. So like I film months, and sometimes if I film content today, I won't release it for another like 3, 4, 5 months. It really depends. Sometimes I have a lot more on stock, sometimes I don't. At that specific time, I had a lot on stock, so I could slowly release it. Um, and then I was filming home workouts and I was filming my sparring in my backyard.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of videos popping up with your backyard as the
The
background
puzzle
for.
mats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
That's when I did the whole 2 versus 1 with my friends.
yeah, yeah. So your friends would come over and help you out. Was that like like a bonding experience with them, just being able to work out every day with just your friends?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, they're like my high school friends, like friends I grew up with at least, and I didn't even call them up because I wanted to make content. One of them reached out to me and wanted to train with me, and I was like, sure, come on over. And then like one friend became like two friends, and then two became three, four, five, and then now I'm like just hanging out with my childhood friends. And then one day we're just like, we should just film some sparring 2 versus 1 and like try to make some like viral content. So we tried the 2 versus 1, and that video it didn't go viral, but it did well. People really enjoyed it and it was entertaining. And then I tried like sparring with my hands behind my back, and then I kind of stopped it at that. But yeah, it was a great time bonding with the friends.
You had a few things planned for 2020, and that was all put on halt. You have this channel, right? And you're creating
Mhm.
content, and then you went over to One Championship, had a successful debut, a lot of momentum, man, going into 2020 or during 2020. Has it been frustrating a little bit because you had that momentum?
Um, a little bit, but I mean, I enjoy doing what I do. I'm not in a rush to fight. I don't have like ambitions to, become the bantamweight champion. Like I fight because the opportunity presented itself, but I'm happy doing what I'm doing now, being a martial artist, training every day, making content, coaching. Um, yeah.
What I wanted to focus on was the not really with the fighting momentum, but with just like growing your brand momentum. You know what I mean? Because I
Mm,
felt like the fighting kind of like added to that, you know what I mean? But it wasn't all of it. And you know, you were going to do these retreats, and I feel like those retreats are pretty big for you and that community that you have created.
Yeah, I had to cancel the camp and refunded everyone, which sucks financially, but it's not too big of a deal. Um, Although COVID did, put a halt to that, the channel's still growing because, now more and more people are actually going online and going on YouTube. So in a way it's helping, but in a way it's not helping. I'm just, you know, rolling with the punches basically.
You know, that was my next question is, have you noticed uh, a steady increase in viewership and interaction?
Um, Interaction, yes. A lot of people, as I was mentioning earlier, a lot of people are asking for home workouts, solo training. I actually based my most recent online program off training by yourself. So it's a full program where you can train by yourself, no partner, no equipment needed, and it can all be done at home. Um, and yeah, I guess it gave me a lot of more ideas on how to tailor to those people who train by themselves because there's a lot of people with access to the gyms, but there's also a whole other side of people who do not have partners, don't have access to gyms. So I'm glad I was able to help those guys out.
How have you continued to develop as a mixed martial artist with all this isolation?
Um, I mean, the lockdown was about 2, 3 months, and lucky for me, my gym kind of opened up and I was able to train. But during those 2, 3 months, all I could really do was hit pads and train with my fiance. Like I begged my fiance every day to hold pads for me, and she was not liking it. But she's a champ, and she held pads for me, and I got to train with her. So that was really the only way. And bringing my friends over, and the circle of friends were small because I wasn't able to bring too many people over. Because if I believe it was like a circle of 10 or 15 people, and then they can't see other people either. So the group had to be small. It sucked, to be honest. Like after, hitting pads is great and all, but even after the lockdown, even though I was training almost every day, I was out of shape because I didn't spar for so long and I wasn't sparring with higher level guys. So definitely put a halt to my training a bit.
What's out of shape for you? Because I feel like out of shape is like having a gut and not being able to run. What's out of shape for you?
Sir, when I say out of shape, I mean I'm not in fight shape. Like looking in shape is different from being in shape. Like I just have the genetics at my current age where I don't really have to train too hard and I can eat, basically whatever I want. I can still look decent. But when I say out of shape, meaning like I do 3 5s and I'm like gassed in the first round.
About a month and a half, you went to Dubai. Was it Dubai or Abu Dhabi? Is that the same place?
It's so funny because I thought it was the same place as well until I got there, but the country is UAE, United Arab Emirates.
Emirates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went to Dubai, which is a city, and then the venue was at Abu Dhabi. So I stayed in Dubai for 4 weeks, and then I went to Abu Dhabi for a week for the fight week.
All right. So you went over there with your close training partner, Xavier.
Xavier, yeah.
And I remember Xavier was the one who actually went with you to Singapore for your one championship debut.
Exactly.
So were you repaying him back, or have you guys always been each other's corners?
No, I was repaying him back, but we got really close since doing my fight camp at TriStar, and since he came with me to Singapore, and he needed a guy to go to Dubai with him, and also because his opponent apparently, or he did have nasty low kicks and body kicks, and he thought that I could replicate or imitate his opponent pretty well. So yeah, he brought me over to Dubai, and I just kicked him a lot.
Yeah, you guys were doing a lot of rounds together.
Yeah.
I noticed in some of these videos, and you went, like I said, you went out there a month or so ahead of the
Yep.
fight. Why did you just decide to go out there so early? Because most of the other fighters were getting in there like maybe a week or a week and a half.
I believe he had something that he needed to do over there, but also because he wanted to get acclimatized. I believe 5 weeks was a little bit longer than necessary, but
Did you kind of want to get out of Canada and go somewhere,
Um,
abroad?
I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty excited to go. I've never
Mhm.
been to Dubai. Uh, First time going there and first time cornering Xavier, so I definitely want to uh, pay him back and also give me the opportunity to train with such a high level guy. I haven't been to TriStar since COVID hit, so it was nice to start training with him again.
When you got over there, did you notice a lot of fighters there? Were you surprised about the amount of fighters that were located in Abu Dhabi?
Yes, actually, there's a lot of
Mhm.
Russians everywhere. Like, yeah, we were seeing UFC fighters there, Bellator fighters, and a lot of Russians. Apparently, it's like the new fight country or fight city, whatever you want to call it. And actually, his UA Warriors event was apparently the first event that allowed spectators,
Mhm.
but you needed to get the vaccine. So I'm not sure how many people got the vaccine because I didn't see too many people. But apparently, if you had the vaccine, you could come watch.
You were training on that rooftop. How hot was it? You said your feet were burning. I noticed in the video your feet were burning so much that you had to go back inside, and it's probably hotter inside.
Yeah. So the outdoor, you got your weightlifting, and you got a ring, but it's in the shade, and then you got the octagon, which is outside. And that was our first session, like right off the airplane.
Mhm.
And we tried to spar in there, but it was way too hot, like to the point where it was like hurting. So we went inside and we just sparred inside, which is totally fine. In the evening, we would spar outside and use the cage. But in the mornings or afternoons, we would train inside with the mats.
Did you get back in shape while helping him get ready for his fight?
I would say so. I would
Mhm.
say so. We did five fives, and this is my first time ever doing five fives for my training. Like normally it's three fives and that's it for sparring. Um, sometimes four fives, but this time we did five fives, 5 days a week, and I'm against a guy who is in your face pressure fighting. So yeah, I'd say I got in shape from there. I
So,
also ate a lot, but
mm, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's some good restaurants out there.
yeah,
Now, UAE Warriors 14, Xavier goes out there, dominates the fight. Heading into this fight, people are overlooking Xavier a little bit, you know what I mean? Because that guy, Jaguar, he's kind of known in the area. And,
he's like
but man, yeah.
he was the hometown hero, the favorite guy. Uh, yeah, everyone thought that he would head kick Xavier, but Xavier kept the pressure, and he was a good opponent though, really really strong. Like Xavier was telling me after the fight how he was not expecting him to be that strong, but like when I saw the guy, I was like, he is going to be very strong. But I told Xavier, you're stronger, don't worry. And he went in there believing that, and yeah, pulled it off. I believe he probably won four rounds out of the five.
He did win at least 4 rounds out of five.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
even
yeah.
one of the rounds is very close. From the corner, how did you feel about the performance? Like, did he execute everything that he needed to?
I was actually really impressed with his striking, um, and it made me happy that he was able to strike because he brought me there to strike with him. But his game plan was actually to take him down and just finish him on the ground, complete dominate him on the ground. But he surprised both of us with his strength and scrambles, and Xavier, wasn't able to keep him down. Uh, we literally both believed that once he took him to the ground, he'd be finished because Xavier should have his black belt by now. Like he was apparently supposed to have gotten his black belt 8 months ago. He's a black belt in judo. He's just a heavy, heavy grappler. But the guy was strong and was able to get back up. And then it forced and challenged Xavier to actually strike, and Xavier outstriked him. So super impressed and proud of him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was a great performance, and now he's the champ, man. And I
Yeah.
feel like that belt, it's a belt that's recognized by a lot of people because there's been guys that have went on to the UFC, One
Mhm.
Championship, Bellator from that organization.
Yeah. And even that fight card, there's apparently a lot of high level fighters on there, a lot of
Mhm.
Russians out there. Like I personally don't know them too well, but Xavier was telling me that a lot of guys on that fight card were really high level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were like a bunch of them were from the PFL tournament. So
Yeah, 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 exactly. PFL.
yeah. Now for yourself, man, it's been 10 months. Are you in talks with One Championship of maybe possibly fighting early next year?
Yeah, actually, I was offered a fight while I was in Dubai. So I believe it was for the event in December sometime.
Mm.
Unfortunately, timing did not align and I had to turn it down because if I just left Dubai December 1st or 2nd and I'm quarantining right now. So I'm not able to train. And it's either I quarantine in Canada and then fly back out in a week or two,
Um,
or I stay in Dubai, which is extremely expensive, and my expenses wouldn't be covered, and then or fly to Singapore or Thailand and quarantine there, and it just didn't work out for me.
you've been through UAE Warriors and what they have to go through to put on an event, man. One Championship's been putting on events like constantly now, so uh, I'm pretty sure if you do go out there, you'd feel safe. Were you somewhat apprehensive, like going out to Dubai because of what was going on in the world?
Not at all. We have to wear masks everywhere we go, like even if we're walking outside in the streets, which is kind of annoying, but I got used to it. But besides that, everything is open as per usual. Like everything's running very normally. The gyms were, sorry, I only went to one gym, but the gym was packed, like packed, packed, packed. Um, I had to get my COVID test done probably like 6 times while I was there. And on fight week, I had to take the COVID test every day, and I came out to be positive, negative, so that's good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So they offered you a fight December, you turned it down. So would you come back maybe in looks like they're gonna have a card in February. The Bibiano or no, the Demetrius Johnson, Adrian Moraes
Yeah,
fight is coming up soon. Would you want to get on that card, or do you just wait for them to kind of give you the word?
I kind of wait for them to give me the word, and I assess my situation, and I decide then. Um, I'd say I'm in a different position than many of the other fighters. A lot of the other fighters out there, their goal is to fight for a living, become world champion. Me, on the other hand, I fight if the opportunity presents itself. I'm happy doing what I'm doing now, being a martial artist and being the train every day. My main focus is content creation, coaching, and helping my students. So, yeah, I'm not the one to call out fighters or reach out to One Championship and saying, "Hey, give me a fight, give me a fight." Um, I'm happy doing my thing right now.
Moving on to outside of One Championship, they just recently announced Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Logan Paul in an exhibition fight in
Yeah,
February.
I heard that's crazy.
That's pretty
They're like,
insane, right?
how many weight classes above is he?
I don't know. I don't know. I think he's like walks around at like 190 or something.
Yeah, he can throw a punch. He's a strong guy.
Yeah, those guys have him and his brother have somewhat like athletic backgrounds. So it's not like
Mhm.
they're just like guys off the street trying to fight. They know
Yeah,
how to
he's
fight.
a wrestler. He's a
Yeah.
really good wrestler. There's like a viral YouTube video of him wrestling Paulo Costa,
Yeah,
and
you're right.
he's
You're right.
legit. He's a legit wrestler.
Yeah. So with when you see like a Logan Paul, who is also a content creator himself, and Jake Paul recently knocked out Nate Robinson, which was
Hmm.
insane to
Yeah,
watch.
yeah, beautiful knockout.
Yeah. What do you think of the success they're having in combat sports, man? It's kind of it's something fresh, right? It's not like something that people expected.
It, it's it's awesome just to see
Mm-hmm.
that. I think at the same time it's kind of irritating a lot of fighters because there's a lot of fighters out there who work really hard to get into a big organization, and then you get like a YouTuber who gets to jump in and fight a big name. Um, well, sorry, he didn't fight a big name, but if he fights Floyd Mayweather, then that's who gets that, right?
Well, it's the entertainment aspect of combat sports, right? Like a lot of the fighters are more of the fighting aspect, right? But these guys are the entertainment. They want to take the popularity and turn it into monetary rewards, and I think that's what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I support it, and
Yeah,
I'm super like I hope it happens. I'd love to see that fight. I'd love to see Floyd Mayweather fight a guy who's how many pounds heavier than he is.
that would be crazy if he could knock out Floyd Mayweather. If that would just be insane. If that
I,
actually
I I don't
happens.
I don't see it happening,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll see.
Would you consider them martial artists? The Logan Paul, Jake Paul, those guys?
I don't know Logan Paul too much. Like I just know he's a wrestler.
Mm.
Um, that's like as far as I know. I've never watched any of his videos, so I really don't know. Can't really comment on that.
Do you have a prediction on like you don't like to predict, but do you have a prediction on Mayweather and Logan Paul?
I'm gonna say Mayweather.
Oh, you think? Do you think when they say exhibition, right? When you think of exhibition, and did you watch the Mike Tyson
Mike
and Roy
Tyson, I
Jones
did.
Jr.?
I definitely think Mike Tyson held back on his shots,
Mhm.
especially to the head. Like he was digging a bit to the body, but to the head he was definitely holding back. Um, I think Mike Tyson could have finished the fight if he wanted.
Yeah, Roy Jones Jr. didn't look like he trained for that fight. It it was
Yeah.
weird.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Mike Tyson looked like he was in shape though.
Yeah, Mike Tyson looked like he was in really good shape and ready to fight and I don't know. I think we're gonna see more and more of these types of fights coming up.
Hmm.
These like big pay-per-views because
Yeah.
people want to see them.
Hmm. I want to see them.
Yeah.
I'm sure
What's
everyone
what's
else
the
does too.
dream? Do you want Anderson Silva to go out there and box Roy Jones Jr.?
I want to see Conor McGregor fight again. To be honest,
Okay.
yeah. Um, there's so many dream fights I can't really think of it right now on the spot.
All right, Jeff, man, it's good catching up with you, man, and just kind of going through the year and hopefully next year we could turn a corner on this pandemic and you could get out there and travel and get back to Asia and eventually fight, man. So all the best to you, man, and enjoy the rest of the quarantine, I guess.
Thank you, man. I only have a week left, but yeah, thanks for having me, and I'll love to chat again in the future.
Take a move in the ring. You can hit me with a